Welcome back to another episode of the Cast Patrol podcast. You're joined as always by myself, Mick, Jimmy, and Age. Boys, huge episode this week.
100% Mick. You got State of Origin team list for game 2 out. We'll unpack all that. Round 15 tips and predictions. All the news and the headlines and everything to do with NRL.
Yep.
We're going to uncover it all, aren't we, Jim?
We are.
What are we starting with?
Origin.
State of Origin.
Origin team's just been announced.
I feel like buy rounds, people lose a bit of interest, especially when your team's not playing. So we'll start with the game 2. We're going to do a big preview. We'll be posting it, Sunday
This
morning?
Sunday morning.
But let's just touch on it because I think it is hot at the moment. Yeah. So what do we think, first of all? New South Wales changes. Barnett, obviously, ACL injury. Stefano comes in. Max King starts. Stefano bench.
I think it was expected, but I'm a little bit surprised that Keon didn't get in. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think Stefano has warranted his selection. I was surprised he was in the squad game 1. And yeah, I thought the way obviously Keon's been playing, I thought he would have got caught up onto the bench. But yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah, let me ask you, Jim, as a Queenslander, do you want to come up against Stefano or Keon?
I'd rather come up against Stefano.
Yeah. What about Stefano or Terrell May?
Stefano
or Lindsay Smith?
Stefano.
Okay, so you guys are
Or maybe
happy with that
Lindsay
selection.
Smith bit inexperienced, but anyway.
I just don't think Stefano's done enough. And Keon's probably done more in the last 3 games for South than Stefano's done all season.
I don't know what else
Respectfully.
Keon has to do. He's tackling his ass off. He's running post-contact meters, scoring tries.
Yeah.
Playing near 80 minutes. He's tried his ass off.
And he covers
to
it
his
second
credit,
row as
he's in
well.
the squad. So
He's there.
congratulations, but it would have been good to see him
He can't
on
get
the bench
in
at
the
least.
team on the edge, let
No.
alone now in the middle. So
Yeah. But I feel like it gives him another benefit because he can play on the
he can
edge
play
as well.
edge, middle.
Tinfoil
He can even
hat, conspiracy.
Yeah.
Bellamy's the advisor. Helps a brother out
Oh,
with
100%.
Stefano.
I reckon he's
That's
definitely
But I
advocating
reckon
for
Josh
Stefano.
King's been playing better than Stefano.
Yeah. Steph had a good game against Cows, but I feel like before that,
Yeah, no.
it was crazy. He was in the 20 last Origin.
Game 1.
Yeah, which that means he was sort of that one step closer.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I've said on the last few pods, if we're arguing about who's our bench forward as the biggest issue, we're fine. Because if you look at Queensland, big issue.
Yeah.
Huge changes.
I don't know what's going on over there. Slater's starting to remind me or give me a feeling about a bit of Freddie Fittler.
Bit of Freddie about
There's
it.
a bit of Freddie about Billy.
Yeah, I
And
think.
I feel like if they don't win this game, there's going to be axes swinging everywhere.
Well, he's already swung the axe.
He swung the axe, but maybe one
There's
might be
already
swung at
axes
him.
being swung. Unfortunately, yeah, Billy. I think the criticism got to his head. I think he got to him.
So do you think he's made some wrong decisions?
I think he's got a bit of head noise, and
Yeah.
the media's been all over it, and he's decided to swing the axe, like we said, and he's made some big changes.
Yeah.
Dropping a captain first and foremost. is
Were you
huge.
surprised by that?
Like, I wanted it to happen, but I didn't think it would happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
Considering
very,
he's the captain.
very
and-
un-Queensland-like to do that. You know,
Yeah.
they usually pick and stick, as they claim.
Pick
and then
and stick's a myth. It was so easy
know.
to pick when you got Greg Inglis, Cameron Smith,
Yeah, exactly right.
Thurston, Cronk.
They pick themselves,
Yes,
right?
correct.
But now when the series and Billy's job's on the line, it's a must-win game.
Yeah.
It sort of makes sense why he's panicking.
I think it's the right decision,
I'd be
though.
panicking.
You think
It's
it's
the right
decision?
decision. I think Dearden's been playing out of his skin. He was good when he came on game 1. He's obviously got huge shoes to fill.
It's a bit of a shit go for
Decider
Cherry
on,
Evans though.
series on the line.
His forwards didn't do anything in game 1, and obviously it's so hard to play off the back of a pack getting dominated. So he's a bit of a scapegoat.
Me
Just doesn't
personally-
make sense why game 1 they go Cherry, and then all of a sudden they're swapping game 2. It doesn't make. Why don't do it game 1 and give Dearden the whole
100%.
series?
And look at they had, what was it, 11 rounds of form to go off Dearden versus Cherry. And then what you're telling me in that 2-week period.
Cherry was not in good form.
No, he's still not in the form. But to be honest, I personally would have just stuck with Cherry one more time. I feel like he's done so much in the Origin arena where you can sort of rely on him in that fact. But if you're going off pure game 1 and maybe Billy panicking, you can maybe see why he's made the call. But also, Firma drop for Capewell.
I think that's stiff.
I think that's very stiff, and Nano back to the bench.
Nano to the bench, I think, is the biggest.
Nano was the best on field.
That's the biggest joke ever. He was your best, if not second best.
Yeah.
Like
in game one.
Capewell's been playing okay for the Wires, but is like that the play to nullify like our strong edges?
I
Especially
think it's just a safe play from Billy. Like he went with experience rather than the inexperienced Firma.
Yeah.
So I can see that part. I would have liked to see Capewell, Nanai, Cotter in the middle.
Yeah, I don't like Cotter on the edge, but I see why he's doing it just to take a bit of sting out of the game.
Yeah.
But he
Just
can't
to
be on the
shore up
edge the
that
whole
defense,
game because he's not an attacking threat. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. Like,
And I think that's
he's not a hole puncher.
That's why he's gone Liero lock to start with. And then he's gone Nanai Carrigan off the bench for a bit of impact. Because I think that's what Queensland missed game one. There was no impact off the bench.
Yeah.
So bit of X factor off the bench, obviously with Nanai, and then Carrigan comes on in the middle as well, which would be good.
I'm still not convinced with like Liero, let alone starting. I don't know if you guys as Queenslanders view him differently, but I would have been starting Carrigan. I would have bringing on someone like Horsburgh off the bench.
Or even
you know?
like Cotter lock, and then you move like Nanai to second row.
But I feel like a bit of second phase play, a bit of unpredictability could scare us with Horsburgh. So I'm glad he's not in the 17.
Liero will do his job. He'll make his tackles and make plenty of runs. Kurt Mann 14's a good addition. I think he's been playing well for the
Been
Dogs.
carving up with the doggies.
I think that's well deserved. And then I'm worried about Holmes at centre. That worries me.
Well, Hammer could not handle Critter, so it makes sense why they've swapped that.
But just defensively, it worries me Holmes there at centre.
Can't be worse than what Hammer was doing in game
That's the thing. Like Holmes has played centre.
Is
for the
Hammer a
last
winger?
5 years.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Like Lomax
Yeah.
jumping over him, or do they put Coates back on the left?
Don't know
Don't
what
know
they'll
what they'll do there.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for that.
It feels good that your team's like in a little bit of a shambles at the minute. And if you look at that Blues team, they're all young. And it scares me for you guys that this might be the start of the New South Wales dynasty. We've finally got one.
Could be.
Is it dynasty or dynasty? Because I want to get it right once if we're going to lay this down. You
I
know?
think it's dynasty.
Yeah, I always say dynasty though.
How about we just ask Dr. Google?
Ask Dr. Google, but either way, I do agree with you,
Alright,
Mick.
ready?
You got
Official
go.
pronunciation so you can get it right.
Google. What does Google
Dynasty. Dynasty.
Yeah,
got? There you
dynasty.
go.
Dynasty.
We're in the New South Wales dynasty, Jim.
Yeah.
You got Cleary, 27. Haas, 25. Critter, 24. Unbelievable with everything he's done in his career.
Ridiculous.
Latrell, 27. Bizza, 26, to name a few.
Yeah.
You guys have a young team, but these are key players, and they're going to be there for another. Well, how many do you win? 8 in a row?
8 in a
We
row,
have to win
yeah.
this one and 6 more. So 6 more years. I don't want to jump the gun.
I don't know.
We still
It's
have
a
to win.
Dynasty's a big call.
We still have to win in Perth.
Nah,
Like,
I don't think
Dynasty's a
anyone will
big
ever
call.
do that 8 in a row.
Yeah, nah. That team was insane.
Incredible.
No, that was
Incredible.
you won't get close to it. But yeah, still we got to go to Perth, but it doesn't look promising for you guys given we play the final decider at New South Wales.
Yeah.
Sydney.
Blues 2-2 in Perth. I know it's a small sample size, but haven't lost there. And then if we do lose, go back to Acor, our home. So
Yeah.
it's going to be real tough for you guys.
But look, we'll get into all
Will be
the
interesting.
New South
Yeah.
Wales versus Queensland action in our preview dropping this Sunday exclusive. Thanks for the support on the last one. It was one of our most listened of the year. So
Nearly got like 4,000 views on YouTube.
on
and
YouTube
who
alone.
knows what else. But yeah, heaps of tips. We'll give them predictions, analysis, everything.
Yeah.
Way more in depth on Sunday morning. They'll be
100%.
dropping.
Well, let's go back, rewind a little bit to round 14, cover some of the headlines. This one I actually forgot happens because it's been such a long weekend of footy. But obviously the Knights make a miracle comeback. They were down 16-0 at halftime and then getting booed by their own fans. O'Brien says those fans got no idea about rugby league. And they go on to win 26-22.
Yeah, this was probably one of the most shocking things that happened all weekend because I was
Didn't say
sitting
coming.
there at halftime and I had like a tweet ready to go saying something like Knights for the spoon or Knights done.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky I didn't click post
Oh,
because
so lucky.
What the fuck happened in that second half? Completely swapped.
Yeah. Knights in that first half pretty much sums up their season, I think. I think that was like the 8th game this season where they've gone scoreless in the first half. So that sums up their season. But I don't know what they did. O'Brien gave them an almighty spray at halftime because the second half was a completely different side.
Just that first half, like Olakawatu looked like it was like under 10s where the big boys just running
Just
through
give it to him and
to
then-
the little boys and
Yeah.
he's just pushing him off. Like,
Yeah.
it was criminal. But to their credit, incredible comeback and went to Golden Point and they scored that mad try. Fletcher
Yeah.
Hunt. Fletcher
What a
Hunt in the
player.
air.
Mate, they finally realised what a threat he is in the air. And
Absolute
look what
freak in
happens.
the air, yeah. nearly like as good as Coates and Lomax.
You say that like Knights, that was like fitting of their season, that first half. Like I feel like that second half is fitting of like Manly's season, the way they go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Some weeks they look like they could make a finals run, be the best team in the comp. Exaggeration, but you get me. And then some weeks they look a shell of themselves.
You just can't predict it with Manly. Like they're the most unpredictable team all year. They'll be $1.10 faves, they'll lose. They'll be $3 and they'll dominate. They're a hard one to catch. They had a few excuses, a few injuries there with Lehigh knocking himself out early in the game, and then someone else went off. Did they? One of their centers, or someone else got injured as well. They had a few
couple
excuses,
of excuses, but
still they should have closed that game out.
yeah. Well, Gagai turned back the clock. How good was he in that second half?
They're not going to re-sign him. I can't believe it.
That's a good get for a team.
He's playing so well.
Very good get.
Like, he was even like contention for Origin. If you're worried about Holmes, chuck fucking
He was knocking
Gagai
on the
in.
door, man.
Fuck, he put a show on Holmes the last time they played each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, he's really good, Gag. So hopefully he gets re-signed. Other news: Dolphins Demolition absolutely pumped the Dragons, 56-6.
I told you that one. I tipped them. Jim
I had
too.
some,
Yeah,
I had some
Dolphins.
hope for the Dragons there. Like they gave me
They've
nothing.
fallen off a cliff, the Dragons.
They have. I don't know what's going on with them. I think obviously their halves are they're lacking there,
Yeah.
and a few other injuries. Sewer's injured still, but
I just think they probably overachieved to start the season. That now it looks like they're crashing twice as much. But you got to remember when we were doing those previews and everyone's doing their predictions, everyone had Dragons for the spoon. It was like
or close to it. Yeah,
close to it. They were favourites at the start of the year.
But we didn't have Dolphins too far off, did we? Or did some people have them pushing for the 8?
Yeah,
Can they make the 8?
I feel like they're playing good footy.
playing good
Like
footy,
Isaiah
man.
Katoa, he's an absolute gem. Like
They've got a good
I
one.
just
They've
think
got to
that
keep him
their
for his
their
whole
back
career.
line's like up there as like one
got
of the
striker
elite
around the park.
1 to 7. Yeah, like they got strength.
Yeah.
Where I think it might come undone is the injuries to like their key forward pack personnel. Like they've already lost Flegler, who's been out for almost a year and a half.
Saifidi, shoulder surgery now.
Saifidi,
out.
Plath as
Plath,
well.
ACL, poor bloke. That's rough.
And he just came back.
From a foot injury and then
Yeah.
ACL, it's terrible news.
Like, so they're just a bit depleted in the forward pack, but as long as that back line keeps going forward, they have a chance of doing anything.
Yeah. And their bench has been really good for them.
yeah, Connolly, Lamelu,
Cons,
Kerr.
Josh Kerr, Nichols as well.
Yeah,
Like,
they're all
they're
doing a
coming on
job.
and they're making 100 metres, average 100 metres a game, like off the bench.
100%. And someone who doesn't get any credit is Nicarima. Like he's doing a
he's
great
doing
job
good-
there.
good things.
And he's at the end of his career, but he's still playing great footy. So
Yeah.
they're all doing their
They've got
bit
a good
there
side.
at the Dolphins. And then the last one before we get into the preview is: are the Wires the real deal? We speak about it every week.
How are they doing this?
Now I'm pretty much convinced they are.
How are they doing this?
It's young talent, explosiveness, and then Metcalf in career best form,
Like,
leading the Daly Cherry-Evans.
after
Like,
Unbelievable.
Vegas, I was like, these guys are done.
yeah,
Like, and then they've lost 2 games since Vegas.
that's incredible, eh?
Like,
Harris Tavita, so underrated.
that was probably his best game.
Yeah.
Like Metcalf
All year.
gets every bit of the praise, but Harris Tavita is playing just as good.
100%.
But they're not like bloating about it. So
No.
fair play to him. And then you got Lecker, Valmunga, Aaron Clark,
Oh, they're
Fisher
just
Harris,
so good.
Chans at the back's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, and the best thing about them is it's not the style of footy is not their flashy like footy. They're going through the front door and then, putting pressure, like kick pressure, and just really like suffocating teams like
Yeah.
with their big forward pack, which is good to see.
And their little effort areas like Chans saving those
100%.
tries. The old Warriors would probably just let that happen.
Yeah.
But they're going every bit to stop it, and like
kick
they're
chase
fighting
as
for
well.
everything.
Like they're just going up for
Yeah.
the ball.
It's
like,
kind of crazy. Like you look back at 2023 with when everyone's saying up the wires, and like SJ almost a Daly M season. Like on paper, like that team's a lot better than this current one.
Yeah.
But this team just will not die.
Yeah. They're all punching above their weight.
Even like this week, like I know I tipped them, but they go down to Shark Park and everyone's saying Sharks off a bye. They're fresh.
Yeah.
They beat
Sharks
Melbourne.
off.
The Sharks are another team that kills me inconsistently. That's why I could
I
not
thought
tip them.
at home you got to go Sharks, but they just got
Yeah.
pumped.
I've
They were demolished.
been burnt enough by the Sharks this year to rule.
Yeah.
they're frustrating the Sharks.
So frustrating.
They
They've-
are, but it's a
Like
tough
they beat
one.
Melbourne, and then Melbourne
Yeah.
pumped Warriors. So like,
It's just like
what's doing
so many upsets this year. Like, you
they
actually can't
like
pick
40
it.
to 10, they beat the Sharks.
Yeah.
Like they smashed them.
But to the question, are Wires a real deal? We're all
You'd have
saying
to say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to.
It's who is
Yeah.
it at the moment? It's the top teams.
Well, if
Them
you-
Dogs, Raiders.
Well, I was about
Yeah.
to say that Rando put up a stat and it was there's only 5 teams in the NRL that have a positive record. So it just shows you that these 5 teams are like beating everyone, and the rest are just all fucking losing to each
who are
other.
the teams? You got Dogs, Raiders, Warriors,
Storm,
and
Storm,
Sharks,
and
Sharks.
Like
Sharks.
if you think about how bad Sharks have been, and they're sitting 5th with a positive record.
Yeah.
And they have no Origin players, so they're going to be
Yeah.
they're going to have some luck this Origin period.
The Knights are 15th, and they've got the same amount of wins as the Cows in 6th.
Yeah, and you think
Really?
the Knights will be going
Yeah.
so
No.
much worse.
Have a look.
Actually?
Oh, because of the buys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
we've got 5
It's-
wins.
It's a close comp, like
Same as-
outside the top 5.
Cowboys 5 wins, Knights 5 wins.
Yeah. One's 6, one's 15.
It's fairly close. It's
Yeah.
a lot
What's
of pressure to
going
make
on,
the
man?
Yeah,
top
so a lot
8.
of the buy rounds are just and draws and stuff. So
Yeah, like Raiders had their first bye this week. You know, like they're probably a
Oh,
lock to
mate,
make the
they-
top 4 now.
Yeah.
well,
Because they got, 3 more buys to come.
Yeah.
So,
even the Warriors, I think they have 1 more left too. So
yeah.
good.
If you want to find all our tips, we are on Dabble. We also do live streams, horse racing. We do
Every fortnight,
we
yep.
giveaways before the Origin. Like we're on every
Yeah.
week, if not every second week.
Pretty much every second
Pretty
week.
much we get called up. So if you want to join, see all our tips and follow everyone, join the community, use the code CastPatrol or use a link in our bio.
And what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
All right. Round 15 preview, boys. Kicking it off Thursday night. Sharks, $1.32. Dragons, $3.40.
I'll start you off with the hottest stat of the week.
Here we go.
Cronulla Sharks are shooting for 10 straight wins against St. George Illawarra Dragons.
10 straight.
10 straight.
They've got the wood over them.
They've won 9. I think they're going to get the 10. I don't see how Dragons
Both
bounce
teams
back.
coming off thumpings.
Both coming off thumpings. Sharks get Ronaldo back. You know, they lose Holmes, the Dragons. Sharks don't have any Origin players.
Yeah.
They just got to win.
Heroes
just-
a big
At
loss.
home, they just got to win.
Yeah, I feel like both teams have been pretty underwhelming of recent form, but there's just not a lot to like about the Dragons. Like, you can't tip them confidently and say,
No.
you've shown me anything recently.
Yeah, there's not much going. Like the week before, they gave me a bit of hope
Against
Their-
Knights,
Their forwards, against Knights. You know, it's hard to go off.
Man,
but
like, Knights second
yeah, for what they
last.
dished up against Dolphins, that was pretty disappointing.
I can't put my finger on what's going on with the Dragons. Like I said before, they've dead set fallen off a cliff. Like the first, let's say 6, 7 rounds, 8 rounds, you probably think they will make top 8. But now you're just like,
Yeah, I thought that was sniffed to make finals.
Yeah.
And now it's sort of like shit. They're close
they're
to the
actually
bottom, you know?
going terrible at the
Yeah,
moment.
it's not great. Very
But
inconsistent.
it doesn't add up either because, like, the team that's been making the top 4 the last few years, they've added Fanor Blake to it on top of it. Like,
Yeah.
nothing too much else has changed. Like, they've still got their key spine members. Forward pack's still strong, so it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I think in this one, Sharks, they get Sione Katoa back. It's a win.
Yeah,
So
he was back last week. He had a bit of a complaint. He was hobbling for a bit. But
Yeah, he was,
I think
yeah.
he's all good. And Teague returned good.
Hero's a big loss.
Euro pec injury.
yeah. To
could
be
be
fair,
long
Hiroti
term.
filled in
Hiroti,
pretty well
yeah.
when
Yeah,
Hero
he
was
does a
out.
job. Yeah, Mawini does a job. But
Yeah, he's pretty much Euro from Wish when he plays that left centre role. But
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be scoring every game like Euro. He still
I think
managed
he's
to
got a
score
pretty good try
before
scoring
he got
record.
injured.
Yeah.
Euro.
Yeah.
Scored in every game he's played
That
this year.
Dragons backline at the start of the year when I first looked at it, I know injuries have depleted, but you look at it now and it's pretty underwhelming.
what is it?
Well, you got Gutherson fullback,
Yeah.
obviously he's what he is. Then you got Lawson, Sully, Allen, Sloan.
Yeah, Tupelotu injury hurt.
And the
Holmes out.
halves, you got King Togia, who's still young, Flanagan, who's just
Who's there?
you know, it's
It's not a great team on paper, is it?
especially when you take out Holmes from that backline, obviously
Yeah.
Tuipulotu, the money man. So it's
And
not
they got Little sitting on the bench. It's like, don't know what's going on there. Like, yeah, it's not great for the Dragons.
I'm going
but-
to tip Sharks been saying that if somehow Dragons pull up the upset, I won't be that shocked because Sharks are
Do you remember
fucked.
last buy round when every upset happened?
Yeah.
Out of the 5
I was
games.
zero
I
out
don't
of
think it'll
5.
be this round.
All upsets. Even Dogs lost to Dolphins. Like, it was.
I don't think it'll be this round.
I don't know, but I will be tipping Sharks to make
Yeah.
the
You,
10 in a row.
you cannot tip the Dragons at the moment.
They've shown me nothing.
That's what I thought about Knights last week, and they fucking
That's
won.
true.
So
That's true.
honestly, you can't.
You
pick
can't
it.
even tip the Sharks at the moment.
No, the way the NRL is at the moment, it's crazy.
But I'm gonna go
You
the
have
Sharks.
to tip someone.
No Sharks.
Another team you can't tip: the Titans at $3.40 against Manly at $1.32.
Turbo's back.
Turbo is back.
Can he stay on the pitch?
Hopefully, because he scored 13 tries in his 9 games against Titans.
Yeah.
Loves playing the Gold Coast.
Yeah, Titans. Oh, gee, that first 20 minutes against the Broncos was something out of a horror movie.
Do you
That
reckon was it the black jersey the Broncos are wearing?
No, that was just
Gave them
bad.
superpowers, or Titans were just bad?
That was pretty bad.
It's a horror movie that's lasted like 3 seasons long.
Honestly,
They've never really got
Poor
too
buggers.
close to Titans. I feel bad.
But like the last 5 weeks conceding 30 plus every week, it's
Yeah.
just a bit disgusting.
and they just
And their
keep-
team's good on paper. Like, we just shut on Dragons' backline. Then you read this backline. Brimson, Camperera, Kelly, Sammy,
Yeah.
Fitzgibbon, Four, and Campbell.
It's pretty good, eh?
They
It's
just-
a good backline.
They keep shuffling around the halves.
Yeah, their whole
and-
spine's always changing. Now
spine,
Mulaney's in there because of injury.
All in all is you take Tino out of this side, who was their best go forward.
Tino's
it's
a-
going to be tough.
he's
Like,
a
what's
gun.
doing with David Fafita?
I don't
Seriously.
know.
Well, you got medically cleared to
Like,
From
return.
the club, apparently.
and he just doesn't want to play or something. What's going on?
I actually have zero
There's
idea.
something going on.
But like,
he needs to go to another club
don't know.
and
Like,
just
there's
restart.
obviously
he had
something-
the chance. He signed with
I
the
know.
Roosters.
He has to restart his career.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. But then Manly, like, yeah, that second half was underwhelming from them. Turbo's back. They get Cherry-Evans, obviously, doesn't go to Origin. Sub, welcome return. You have to go Manly,
Shout
right?
out to Jazz Tavanga. He's been unreal for Manly recently.
Yeah, he's been a good
Been a
signing.
great signing,
He's
yeah.
been really good.
Filling in
for
a hooker, a bit of lock. He's playing with a broken rib or something
Yeah.
as well. Like
Back fence, Brown.
absolute
Yeah.
battler. Yeah.
I think the fact that like Seagulls get Turbo back, it helps, and Titans lose probably their best player doesn't help, and
Yeah.
Titans have just been going woeful lately. I can't.
Like,
pick
this
them.
is a game where Titans win, I'll be like, yeah, that's probably checks
Well,
out.
how many players they have out? Like they're losing
Just Tino and Mo.
Tino and Foddy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. And who do Manly lose? They get Cherry-Evans back. Oh, like maybe due to the birth of his kid,
Could be out.
he could be out. So
They got everyone
stand by there, but
They lose
Yeah.
Lehigh Hopewade to a HIA.
it's crazy. Yeah, you got to go Manly, and they won 7 of the last 9 games at Seabus Super Stadium. So they love playing there. So
Yep.
So
Manly
we all
it
go
is.
Manly.
So we're going 2 favourites to start off with.
How good.
How,
All right.
I wonder how that ends.
Next game, Knights, $2.50. Roosters, $1.53.
Chookies have won 7 of the last 8 against Knights. I don't know with this one. Sammy Walker's back.
Yep.
They've dropped Sandon to the bench, maybe for a bit of hooker
was a
coverage.
weird one.
That shocked me a little bit.
It was a
but
weird one.
I can see why they've done it with Savala's kicking game, and the
Yeah.
fact that like if you got Sand in there and Sammy, like we don't know how well Sammy's returning from that ACL injury. Like at least Savala can take the kicking load off him.
Savala has a better long kicking game, but the way Sandon's been playing, I feel like it's very stiff for him because he's been in great form. The only thing is they might be too similar, Walker and Sandon Smith.
Yeah.
So there's reason, and because they're losing a hooker this week because Watson's out.
Yeah.
maybe for a bit of coverage.
makes
Because is there a
sense.
young guy at hooker?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uelu.
So you
Well,
imagine maybe Sandon just goes into hooker.
Then they got Docker Clay on the bench as well. It's a bit
Yeah, that's
weird.
also weird.
Light bench, yeah.
Maybe Docker
Well,
plays
Roosters
lock.
showed last bye round that they could beat the Sharks full strength, and Knights lose Ponga. I will say, they look better with Sharp at fullback, but I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I mean, Hastings plays his first game of the year.
Yeah, they look a bit sharper with him at the back, but
That's
what,
very well
yeah,
played.
what can you do?
And
mate?
Cobb-
like
well played.
Hastings finally gets a crack. Everyone's been calling for him to get a run. Don't know if he's going to be their long term answer, but
Is he
is
the
their
answer for the
this?
Knights?
Is their answer this week?
Well, look,
Knights
they're
showed me
coming off a
enough
win.
in the second half, and I'm going to go Knights.
Really?
I'll tell you that
Knights?
for I'm going Knights.
Wow,
That's huge.
I think Roosters just lose a little bit too much.
they still have
Origin.
like Teddy and Walker back.
Yeah.
They still got Nath White that
See,
came
that's my
back.
question mark on Sammy. I don't know if this is the game he's like going to punch through because it takes so long to come back from an ACL.
yeah, he wasn't really striding out in cup. Like
Yeah.
there was that
He
clip
played
of him
40 minutes,
that did that intercept, and then he was sort of just like.
Well, I'll tell
jogging.
you from my personal experience coming
Oh,
out
here
from
we
the
go.
ACL.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
I went from Player of the Year in Div 1 Oztag, coming back in Div 4 Oztag, and I haven't even scored a fucking try.
Are you washed?
I'm washed. The knee's fucked. I tore my quad just the other day
Did you?
kicking the ball
Okay.
because, on the same knee, it's been weak. So, we'll see how
Quad's gone.
Sammy goes, but, obviously he's a professional. So,
Good luck.
best
to
of
him.
luck to him.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go the Chookies in this one. I think.
Yeah, I think I'll go Chooks, but not confident.
Next game, Cowboys $2.52, Dolphins $1.53.
Mate, Finns are up. I've shut on them for a long time this year.
They
But
are
I'm
in good
coming to
form.
the bright side. I'm going to go Finns. They're playing good footy. Katoa gets me going.
Yeah.
He's just a he's a
He
footy
gets
player.
me going as well.
Who do you
As
lose?
Blocker
Who
says, he's a
does
footy
Cowboys
player.
lose this week?
We
Dearden,
lose a
obviously.
few. So
Quite a
Dearden,
lot.
Nano.
Vilea, Nanai, Bateman.
What happened to Vilea?
What happened to Bateman?
Vilea and Bateman
Bateman.
suspended.
What happened to Bateman?
They got suspended.
For 1
Oh,
week each?
fuck.
Yeah.
What did they
And
do?
you say Cotter as
I think
well? And Robson? Yeah, you lose
Yeah, and
fucking
Robson
everyone.
as well,
Oh,
yeah.
Connor
No, you guys
Robson.
are
Oh, fuck. Yeah, no, Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of outs.
Yeah, I actually forgot that they lose.
Cliffo's back.
Cliffo's back.
Yeah.
And
Lolo's
then,
back.
besides the Dolphins' injuries, they lose Hammer to Origin. Avril as a fullback.
Yeah.
Avril was
yeah.
actually all right at fullback.
He's
when
good
he
at
played there.
fullback.
And yeah, shout out to Caden Lars' debut for the Cows.
Tom Leroy
Lars' son.
Lars' son. There you go.
Good little young forwards.
What about with Tamale being ruled out with his patella injury, 10 to 12 weeks? Do we see Ricky Stewart's son, Jed
Could
Stewart, get the
Jed
call
could
up
get
on the
a
wing?
run. Could get a
So I
run.
was looking at their team. There was a Soma, I think,
Yeah.
who also might be a chance. But there what and Hopewadi said did his ACL.
Did his ACL.
So yeah,
A bit light in the back.
there you go. Maybe a few sons
sons floating
to
around.
debut.
But yeah, hopefully Cows. Yeah, last week was disappointing against Melbourne. A couple of those tries were soft, really
soft.
You're playing at home. Clifford's solid to come in. Talangi's back.
Yeah,
Lolo at lock. There's a way you win this.
There's some
Always a
shining
way.
lights.
There's definitely a way to win this, but
yeah.
I don't know. Dolphins have just been a good team
Dolphins
to
are
watch.
they're in good form.
They all punch above their weight and they don't lose too much. I'll be going Dolphins.
I'm gonna go the Cows.
Yeah, I think Dolphins just in this one. But I think, Cows just lose too many players to Origin, especially on you throwing Vilea Bateman. It's almost half your team.
The suspensions didn't help there.
It didn't help at all. No. Last game of the round: Rabbitohs $2.95, Bulldogs $1.40.
Jesus, another one. Head or heart here. Head or heart.
You're
What am I-
obviously
You've
going to
never
go as a
gone
dog.
What am
your
I gonna
heart.
do? What
You've
am I
never
gonna
gone
do?
your heart. You're a fraud.
I was actually
don't-
crying. I was loving it when South were
You're
up in
crying.
that first half, and I was crying that I didn't pick them. I was like, "Holy shit, I'm a fucking idiot here." And then they reminded me why I didn't pick them. As
They're
soon
your
as they
team.
conceded,
They're
to-
your team.
Ethan Strange got through 5 players to score in half time,
They're your team.
and
Yeah,
then
that
it
was
just
rough.
went downhill.
That was rough.
Sometimes it just like it hurts me if I tip him and we lose, but if I tip against them, at least there's a bit of a buffer. In saying that, South have won 6 of the last 8 versus Dolphins.
Surely,
you're gonna tip
surely
him.
that gets you.
You're going to tip
Come on,
them.
just
I
do
love
it
my
this week.
stats.
Just do it this
Is
week.
that enough? I love my
Do
stats.
it this week.
Dogs last time without their Origin boys was shocking.
Yeah, they were shot.
Tell you what kills me though, no Cody and no Trell. And it's not because of what Trell does with his hands. It's what he did with his feet last week. His kicking game was immaculate in that first half.
It's good.
He kicked 660 meters all up. He
Yeah.
was our dominant kicker. Take him out of the side. Sullivan kicked for 150 meters. Then you got Humphreys, who's not the greatest kicker. He's solid.
Not the greatest kicker.
No, I don't think he's. I
Wow.
don't think he's the greatest. He's improving.
Okay.
Well, how far would you
He's
say?
not. He's no Trell mitt. You know,
Wow.
Trell's boots.
He
pretty
doesn't.
big.
He doesn't remember rounds 1 and 2, and Jamie kicked us to 2
Yeah, I haven't
wins.
seen too much since then. That's the problem.
Wow.
He's been
Anyway,
injured as well.
he has great arms, though,
Wow.
Jamie. He's got great arms.
Wow.
But yeah, I do.
What about Jai Gray back in at fullback? Remember
Yeah.
it was Daly M leader at one
Yeah.
point?
Jai
Jai's a
Gray.
beast. Jai great.
Yep.
Is he in
Jai
twice
great. He's great.
Tai Munro back on the wing.
Graham
Yeah.
lurking on the reserves.
Yep.
There's,
You like that
there's-
one?
If Graham's in, you might convince me. How about I tip Dogs to start with, and if
You
Graham
can't
comes in,
change.
I'm
you have to
you
pick
can't
now.
no, I'm gonna go Dogs. I'm gonna go Doggies. I know they lose Burden, but Galvin comes straight in.
What do we think of Galvin?
I thought it was a good debut. He turned the attack around a little bit.
Yeah.
It was exciting to see. I think like he's going to get that 5'8" or halfback spot soon enough. It's
Couldn't script it, could you?
no.
I feel like
Scoring
it's a
the
bit
try.
unfair for a kid that young to be so good. Like
Yeah.
he gets all the hype, but I think it's deserved. His hands are great. He's a great runner. And he's tall. He's so tall for a half. Like he was standing in that huddle, and he was one of the tallest blokes there.
Yeah.
And he's a fucking half. Feels stiff for Sexton though, or Marnie, whoever cops the shit end of the stick there.
I think
Like,
they both might.
Yeah, they both might cop a bit of it.
To be fair, like Dogs without their Origin
Still got a good
players
team.
was tough. Like you saw him against the Dolphins, they just didn't look the same.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they get Galvin probably
Bit different this time.
aids that little gap
It
a little
does
bit.
help.
And
The last-
Preston, they get Preston back.
Yeah, Preston up so that it helps. Like last time, I think was it Hayward that went to
Burden
5'8".
out last time as well.
Oh.
Was he 18th man or did
No.
he play?
No,
I
he
feel like-
played.
he got
played.
injured, didn't he? Concussed or something?
Yeah, he got concussed.
He got
Yeah, he got
concussed. That's what it
concussed.
was.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Critter's probably their biggest loss. But in saying that, South lose the trail. So you could argue that it's
Yeah.
quite
And
similar in
Jacob
terms
Preston comes back.
of.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I want South to win, but I'm going to go Dogs. I want to
Mate,
catch
you
Mick.
are
'Cause Mick's creeping away
Did you
on
see
that ladder.
last week what I got?
You got 6
got
out of
one
8,
wrong.
didn't you?
Did you?
One.
I got
No,
South
you had
wrong.
South and there was an upset. Pretty sure because I counted it.
Oh, unless I got the.
Who'd you do?
I would have got Knights wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got-
everyone's
Sorry.
in Manly. Yeah.
So I got-
2.
I got
you got
6.
6 out of 8. You're
Yeah, so
doing
I
good.
smashed you
What
guys
did we get?
again.
I think we got 5, Jim.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Or
we're
you
still-
got 6, I got 5 or something. I don't
Nah,
know.
one of you went really bad. I
Yeah.
remember.
Maybe. Even Yoki got 5.
So I'm ahead of you.
I think so, if I'm correct. But
How
yeah,
good.
that's
All
why.
right, just going off last week. So Jim went.
How many did Jim get?
What'd I get last week?
Oh, to be fair, you both got the same.
Oh.
Did he get 5?
Yeah, because he went Cowboys.
Yeah.
And you went Storms, and you got in there.
Yeah.
And then
I went Dolphins.
He went Dolphins. You went Dragons.
Yeah.
And then you both went Sharks.
So we're both still equal second. We're coming for you, Mick.
Yeah, fuck.
You know what's scary? Sorry, side note. All right, wait. We'll go through our tips on this one. I'm going South.
I'm gonna go the
I'm
Dogs.
gonna go.
The Dogs.
Okay, grub. Anyway, what's scary is the fact that Panthers are sitting in 13th, and like they're probably going to play finals footy this year.
Depends if they keep winning these games that are like.
Do you reckon they got
arm
raw, do
wrestles.
you reckon Tigers got roared on the weekend?
Tigers got ruled
Oh,
out.
with that, yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was a late.
That
kick.
was not a
a
late
late shot on
shot.
the kicker, but I don't know.
Like, was that the
Yeah.
decision that cost them the game? I don't know. They had their
the
chances.
Yeah,
Tigers.
it was a bit stiff, but don't know if that was the sole reason for it.
Then they could use a 5'8" like Galvin.
Oh, that sucks.
To be fair, Heath Mason's doing a job.
He's doing really well. Yeah.
He's a great runner. I
He's
think
doing
he'd
a
be
job.
better at
And he
fullback.
put a couple hits on as well.
Yeah.
Solid in defence.
He's a goer, Heath.
All right, couple of listeners for this week to end the episode. First one at Cameron.Hay. Selwyn Cobbo to the Rabbitohs next year.
That was a shock headline that I read today.
What a shock. What a shock.
It's interesting. Like, I mean, he's obviously been talked about at Broncos, like leaving or looking for more money or whatever it is. I mean, when a player like that comes on the market with some serious X factor, I think you sort of have to look at him.
Yeah,
I don't
feel
know
like
where
his form hasn't been great over the last year and maybe
Yeah.
patches last year, but we know what he can do. We know he's an absolute
He
talent.
probably hasn't been in his best form
No,
in the last year.
but we know where his ceiling is, and
We know how good
we
he
definitely
is.
haven't seen his ceiling. I think
Yeah.
Wayne Bennett out of every coach could probably get the best out of him.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. Like, let's say it does happen, great signing, but like where he fits into that backline. Do you play him
I think it depends if Alex Johnson gets re-signed.
if AJ gets
If he
re-signed?
does, then you got AJ, Tai Munro. Then you got Campbell Graham. Maybe you slot Cobbo in the centres wide and go some more like bench lock role. I don't know,
I don't know.
like a
It's-
utility role.
It's interesting because I feel like in the department that's like South currently have, I feel like their backline's relatively strong and like cashed up heavy. Like,
Like if I was going for a superstar, you'd probably look for another middle forward or another
Yeah.
edge runner. You know, now that Keon's in the middle there,
I just feel like they don't come on the market often, do
yeah, they're hard to come by. Even halfbacks like hookers, they're all hard to come by.
But like
so.
for Cobbo to be dropped though, like for the Broncos, like
He's
there's
obviously not. He's not happy.
There's something
Yeah.
going on there.
Yeah,
So
like you can tell he's not happy. He's not playing footy. He's not loving his footy. So
he was about to leave
he
last year.
needs to find that again. Yeah,
Like he was going to leave last year.
yeah.
So
But yeah, I'll happily take him if it's under 750.
Oh,
What do you reckon?
Well, like
how much do you reckon he's gonna get?
I think that's guaranteed. Will be under 750.
Okay,
yeah,
just
Like-
based on his form.
Well, just based on like I don't think
How much you
any
pay
if
for
he's
like
a
a
winger,
centre.
there's probably only
Yeah.
one winger that you'd pay 750 for, and it's maybe like Bizzle or Lomax. So that's two.
What are you valuing Cobbo at then, boys?
Like my fuck, when we did this the other time with Moses or Brown,
Yeah.
my max I would pay for him as a winger
Yeah,
here we go.
450.
450
For who?
Cobbo 450.
for an Origin player.
I just don't
nah.
think like you have to spend money on a winger.
they're not going to get him for 450 though. That's the thing.
Like AJ's probably on less than 450, and I feel like
Like what's Cobbo on now? You reckon?
oh, he's
Probably on 600.
nah, no chance.
something like that.
No,
He's
been
played
sa-
Origin though. That's the
Nah,
thing.
but when was the contract negotiated?
Yeah, I don't
Nah,
know.
I think that's the
But I
main
feel
thing
like
people
he
miss.
wouldn't go to South for 450. I think he's going to want minimum like 550, 600.
Depends. Like I'm telling you, if he's a winger, no team
Yeah.
signs a winger for 550,
But
especially one that's
here's
out of form.
But if he wanted to go to a club and play fullback, obviously he had to get a lot fitter.
But is
but
a club signing to play
yeah,
fullback?
I don't know.
PNG, the Bears.
I don't know.
So you wait 2 years. But where's he go next year for free agent?
Mick, Cobbo, 500k on the wing. You're saying no.
Oh, like for 50k, yeah, I'll take it.
All right, 550.
No. No, you use my stretch budget.
Let's leave it at that. That's for 2026
Next.
anyway.
But how much are you paying? You can't
I'll
drill
give-
me.
I'm gonna give him 600
You 6
max. 650 if you're really pushing it.
for a winger.
I know. It's
Like think of a winger,
but like
bro.
his ceiling and his potential. If you get the best out of him, it could be worth like 800k. If you get the best out of him, even if he's a center.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So he met with Wayne.
I don't know. That's what the report said.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. All right. Next question at Deanna.Lang. Who will get the wooden spoon?
Right now, it's hard to go past the Titans. Like they're not really doing much. They're not showing much. They can't really defend properly.
Yeah.
The feeder doesn't look like he wants to play. Tino's trying his ass off.
Oh, gee, you feel sorry for Tino.
I feel so bad for Tino.
Yeah, you probably have to say the Titans.
Who
Mate,
else
I don't
is
think
there?
Eels are out of question either. I think I said it a few weeks when someone asked this question.
I feel like whoever Mick says, just get on them to make the 8.
He was to make
Raiders are
the
just
After
killing me
Raiders.
slowly.
Raiders going to
they're
get
just
the
haunting
minor.
you,
Mate
bro.
might get the minor prep.
They could with their buys to come.
It's just getting worse and worse.
Oh, what do you think, Jim?
Titans. I
So
think.
we're all thinking Titans. The obvious one at the moment.
Eels or Titans.
Even
Yeah. Knights aren't far away.
Dragons, if they keep
Dragons.
it
I reckon it'll come
inconsistent.
down to like all of them when they play each other. Like
Yeah.
they're all spoon bowl clashes.
the grand final spoon
Mm.
bowl matches. Yeah,
Yeah. Last one at Yanni.Picos. What's going on with the Dragons? Well, I think we sort of
there you
touched on
go.
it.
It's just like lack of experience in the halves.
Just
and
not happening.
Just
Just a lack of punch in the forward pack.
I don't know if the roster's it either.
they had
Like-
some good signings with
like-
Holmes, Gutho,
Gutherson.
but
Yeah.
Cook, even.
there's still a few flaws there. and
Yeah.
it's just up to playing consistent footy at the end of the day, and then
Yeah.
they're not. So it's
Doesn't
hard
help
to,
that they've lost a few forwards like
yeah,
Egan,
few
Couchman,
injuries.
like,
Sewer's been out for a bit.
Yeah, like the ones that were actually delivering for him on a weekly basis.
and then Tuapolotu was scoring tries for fun.
Yeah.
He's done his
He's out.
hammies, and now his other hammy. Like he's doing everything.
There's
Yeah.
a lot going on there.
There's a few Egan. Did you mention Egan?
Yeah,
there's a
Egan.
few excuses.
Like, is Flanagan the answer at halfback?
Well, they don't have any other answers. I think that's the problem.
Is Ilias killing it in cup?
No, I think Flano's when they were playing together, Flano was better. I think Flano, with what they got, you'd say he's the best 7 at the club.
Yeah, okay.
There's not many options for the Dragons.
Anyway,
Halfbacks and 5'8s are hard to come by.
Anyway,
are.
Yanni, stick strong, mate. You know, you never know, mate. I think that will do us. We got our Origin preview for
Yeah.
Game 2 dropping Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Make sure you tune in. It'll be short, sharp, and snappy.
Yes.
And we'll see you then. That's all from me.
that's all from me.
That's
See
all
you
from
guys.
me. See ya.